some Americans, you're headed to the apple orchard this autumn. You might want to know about the popularity of what you're picking. After more than half a century of being America's favorite apple, the long reign of the Red Delicious has ended. And for many, its fall has been a long time coming. Dahler, of course, introduces us to the new apple of America's eye.
At Fishkill Farms in upstate New York,
Mom, do you want to try one?
their annual fall harvest of apples is in full swing. But this year, there's a new king of the orchard being crowned. The Gayle apple is projected to come in at #1 by the end of 2018, surpassing the reigning champion, Red Delicious.
Do you look forward to this time of year, or do you kind of dread it?
A little of both.
I asked third-generation farmer Josh Morgenthau if he's seen a shift away from Red Delicious since taking over his family's orchard in 2008.
Yeah, we've pulled out some of our Red Delicious trees. We have seen the last few years part of our crop go unpicked. We're definitely downsizing Red Delicious and planting other varieties that we think have more potential.
Is it just that our palates have gotten more sophisticated, do you think?
Gosh, that's a tough question. I think maybe our palates have gotten more sophisticated, but also for so many years, the Red Delicious, it's about color and shape, and red represents ripeness. And so what looked good on a shelf is what people would buy.
Created in the late 1800s in Iowa, the introduction of the Red Delicious apple redefined a whole category of fruit. Author and apple historian Rowan Jacobson.
I don't think we'll ever see an apple as iconic as the Red Delicious again, but I think that's probably a good thing. Like, if you think about it, Red Delicious was the icon of kind of like a 1950s America, which was very homogenous. By the 1980s, Red Delicious was completely dominant, maybe 75% of the market, and growers back then believed that Americans would never buy an apple that wasn't all one color, so either red, golden, or green. Then New Zealand started growing an apple called the Gayle.
The Gayle not only looked different, but tasted different. The fruit was really sweet and had a crispy texture to munch on. Once Americans took a bite, there was no going back.
That did not exist in any of the American apples, and it very quickly became an increasingly popular apple to the point that as of this year, it has finally surpassed Red Delicious to become the #1 apple. Really, at this point, Red Delicious's last market is export. So basically what's happening is U.S. consumers have caught on to the fact that it tastes terrible, but there's still parts of the world that haven't figured that out yet.
You want this variety? Is it good?
As the American consumer began rediscovering the apple, the demand for taste trumped appearance, and the apple industry had to find a way to adapt.
Every time an apple grower has to learn how to grow a new apple, it's a challenge. So they all have their own idiosyncrasies.
Cornell University horticulture professor Gregory Peck.
The majority of apples are bred through conventional means, and it might take anywhere from 3 to 7 years before that seedling produces apples and it can be evaluated. So right there, it's a very long process.
A long process that has created over 7,000 varieties of apples being grown today, making the core competition that much tougher.
I don't think Gayle's reign will be very long. It just passed Red Delicious after really decades of slowly climbing, but there's another apple on the block that's kind of like the third wave of apples.
Skyrocketing out of 5th place is the apple expected to dethrone Gayle within the next 10 years.
The Honeycrisp is definitely taken center stage and changed the industry. Consumers are willing to pay $3 a pound and not, 99 cents or $1.50 a pound. And that has really, I think, changed the industry in a major way, and opened the doors for other varieties that taste better. And, supermarkets and distributors are realizing people will pay for a better apple.
For CBS This Morning Saturday, Don Dahler, Hopewell Junction, New York.
He actually took down the Red Delicious.
He did.
Yeah. What a swipe.
7,000.
Taste good.
By the way, 7,000 varieties of apples?
I know, that blew me away. I
insane.
had no idea.
I used like 3 in an apple pie. I thought I was crazy. Guess
But
not.
that was a swipe. Red Delicious on the heading down, and this guy, he kicked him.